Today, we're extremely fortunate because we have Lucia with us, and she's going to share with us a story of what she's been walking through for the past couple of months here. So thank you, Lucia, for joining us today. We're incredibly excited to have you with us. If you could, as we get started, just kind of give us a quick picture of what your last couple months have looked like and your experience has been as we've moved through this situation.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It has been a pretty tumultuous 2 months. I'm not going to lie. So, leading up to it, so my dad, I had called him, as a loving daughter would, every day checking in. And my dad is usually somebody who's so high on life. I mean, always going a mile a minute. But I had called him and he just sounded the worst I ever heard him. Dad, how you feeling? Oh, Lucia, not good. He's like, living in Florida. He was wearing his winter coat. He said he barely could keep any food down, all this kind of stuff. So he never got better. And then finally he ended up going to a doctor, and then they diagnosed him as having pneumonia. So he was put into quarantine, and then he was in quarantine for 3 days, and all of a sudden he lost all of his oxygen levels. And then they ended up putting him in ICU and intubating him. So while he was intubated, they ended up doing a corona test, and he was confirmed COVID. So my sister and I, the minute he was intubated, rushed down to Florida. And unfortunately, we never got to see him conscious again. So, the whole thing, it happened so fast, and it's just been really hard. So my dad was just philanthropist is an understatement. Even growing up, I mean, he would do a soup kitchen once a week. He would sleep over in a homeless shelter, Alzheimer's walks, all that kind of stuff. And he always raised us with the philosophy, kindness costs nothing, and how important it was to give back. So my cousin actually passed away in 9/11, and my dad always wanted to do something big to honor him, while showing his support for the military and his love of the Yankees. So he came up with this concept to walk from Tampa, Florida in Steinbrenner Field to the Bronx for the Wounded Warriors. So he did that in 2015. It was 1,200 miles, and he raised $56,000 for them. So it was just such a triumph. He walked into the stadium with a slew of wounded warriors around him. Throughout the first pitch, of course, was a strike, and just had a celebration. So, and that was his philosophy, is just really how important it is to give back. And I think he knew that we're only here for a short period of time. So how important it is to do God's work and, just show love and kindness to other people.
Wow. What a legacy. What a legacy. And as you've walked through this and all of the ups and downs of it, what has your experience of God looked like in that?
Yeah, so to be honest, Pastor Chris, when it first happened, it was just such a struggle. It's like, why? When my dad is just such a beautiful person. And the other fact too is he raised us as a single dad. It's just me, my sister, and brother, and he just put so much love into us. And I think that's the hard part, is that he was our anchor, and he really kept our family together. So that's going to be, I think, kind of a struggle. But Yeah, I mean, I did, especially with the whole COVID thing. Like, the thoughts I had were not good. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but with some great talks with some girlfriends, and just doing readings, and obviously listening to the sermons, that are at Hoboken Grace, it's just knowing that really God does have a plan, and it's not our plan for sure. I mean, I wish more than anything that he was still alive and he was still making these memories with us. But just knowing that God has a purpose. And I know, it's funny. I was talking to my cousin and he's like, Lucia, I don't understand why God took your dad so early. Every year he was making more of a difference. Every year he was inspiring people, touching people. I was like, you know what? Yes, but look how many people he's inspiring in his death too. Like, I feel like more and more people are learning about him and learning about the legacy that he left. So, that's my wish for his passing, is that if somebody could just take a bit of his story and help inspire and make a difference in their community or with their church family or among their family, and just use his mission and do something good in their lives.
That's powerful, and I think it's important for people to hear exactly what you said. That the thoughts. It's a struggle with God as you're walking through these things, right? And there's a wrestling match there, and I always say God is not afraid of you wrestling with Him, because wrestling requires closeness. It's running from Him that that keeps us from experiencing what He has for us, even in the midst of loss.
And you're so right. I mean, I feel like, I've always had a pretty good relationship with God, before this. But to be honest, like, through this, when I tell you, every morning my Bible's out, like, reading a chapter, and I have a prayer list that I'm going through each person and kind of like praying for them and like whatever. And you're right, like, this struggle and this challenge really has brought me a lot closer to God, and just really taught me to rely on Him, because I'm really realizing, I mean, I kind of knew this before, but it's like slapped me in the face, that God is just so in control, and that He has an ultimate plan and He has a bigger plan. So just trying to align with that and just be thankful for what He's given us.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Thank you. We really can't thank you enough for sharing your story with us and being on this journey.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be on this journey with you. And we just want you to know we want to be able to journey through this with you as best as we possibly can.
Thank you.